Hello, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is the first time you're seeing me, thank you so much for clicking this video. And if you're a returning subscriber, huge hearts to you. Thank you so much for supporting my channel the way you do. If this is the first time you're coming across my channel, I'm going to start off with a very quick introduction. My name is Adobe Okonkwo Bakoro. I am a Nigerian content creator who makes videos about productivity, lifestyle, building a career in product marketing, and just living my best life. I work remotely as a product marketing manager in tech from Dallas, Texas. And about 1 year, 2 months ago exactly, we moved from Minnesota to Dallas, Texas, and I have a lot to say about the move and just my stay in general in Texas for 1 year. If you're currently in the process of moving or considering moving to Texas, a home of residence or a place of residence, then I definitely recommend you watch this video to the end. I am super excited to share my experience for 1 year since I've been staying in Texas, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you would like to see more content from me, please subscribe, join the family, turn on the post notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads from me. And yeah, let's get started. So first I'm going to be talking about the reason why we moved to Texas, and then I'll go ahead and talk about things we did before moving to Texas, and then finally conclude with top 10 things that you should absolutely know if you do decide to move to Texas as a permanent place of residence. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm going to get started. Please like this video if you found it helpful. Make sure you share with your friends because it definitely helps my channel. And of course, baby girl wants to monetize her channel. We need to get this watch hour up. Okay, so let's get started. So why did we move? We had stayed in Minnesota for, I'd say I stayed 2-3 years-ish. Yeah, 2 point something months, years in Minnesota. And even though I really liked Minnesota, well, not really. I liked Minnesota, not that I liked it. I had no issues staying in Minnesota. But it was just, I don't know, me personal experience. I had encountered a couple of racists in Minnesota. And in fact, the day that I moved, I did encounter one on the plane. So it hasn't been the sweetest of experience living in Minnesota. But I did like how things are organized, you know, the roads are cleaner, you know, it doesn't take you forever to get to where you're going to, which in comparison to Texas seems is definitely a big win for Minnesota. So yeah, Minnesota, the only issue was for more than half of the year, it's usually cold and snowing, there's snowstorm. And I mean, I quickly figured out how to drive in snow, but it wasn't really sustainable. We started very quickly wanting to explore a place where, you know, there's sunshine, you know, better weather, and of course like bigger spaces. So that is pretty much why we decided to move. And because I'm working remotely, it just made sense. Like there was nobody going to the office, so it just made sense to, you know, just like explore that option. Now, when we decided to move to Texas, we started working with a realtor who I met in person when we came to visit Dallas, Texas. They would send us pictures of homes, would look at them, and, you know, eventually we saw one that we liked and we started the process of getting the house. I would say the process was pretty fast to an extent. If you want me to go into detail about how to get a home, probably I'm not the most knowledgeable person, but I'm currently in the process of getting my real estate license. So maybe in a couple of months, I'll have more information to shed light on that. But in the meantime, I'm just talking based on my experience. So the realtor was really good at like responding and sending us messages, pictures of the places. We'll do like FaceTime tour, virtual tours, which was great. Eventually, we closed on a home and very quickly started packing. I would recommend if you're moving, I mean, I've tried this before, like moving without a moving company. It was a horrible nightmare. So make sure you always, especially if you're moving cross country, cross states, I would say make sure you get a moving company to just sort out all of that because it's so stressful moving. Just moving to another place in the same city. Now imagine if you're moving to a different state. That's a whole different process. So we used the moving company, made the process super easy. They were very fast. I think in like 16 hours. That's how long the road trip is to us. All of the boxes were here. And then I very quickly started putting the place together, went to Home Goods, got a couple of items, just set up the house, unboxed all of the boxes and made the house into a home. So that's pretty much how the process went, you know, in terms of like settling in and stuff. When I moved, it was pretty much summer. So I was in the heat of things, like it was very hot and I was still unpacking. I would drive like several hours to and fro just getting stuff to put the house together. So it was a long drive. I'm definitely extremely stressful. I wish I had somebody who was helping me at that time, but it was just me at that point. So, but regardless, I think it was a smooth sailing for me. Then now let's talk about 10 things you should definitely know before moving to Dallas, Texas. I think the first thing obviously is the weather. Like that was the first shock that I had. Weather is extremely hot, but the good thing is I think for 3 months only is when you get like that extreme hot weather. But in comparison to places like Miami, where the last time I went to Miami during winter, I couldn't even step out. The minute I step out, I'm already like running back to the room because ain't no way. Miami heat is the one, the weather is the one where you'll be extremely hot and you'll be sweating, and it's as if no, they're using cane to flog you on your back. So it was definitely worse, like not a good idea to visit Miami during summer. Pretty much the same thing. The only thing with Dallas is more of a dry type of hotness, you know, so it's almost like when you open an oven where you're baking, the hot air that comes and hits your face. That's pretty much how I would describe the weather. You'd sweat, but I wouldn't say it's as bad as how you would sweat in Miami. Miami, you're literally just putting 1 foot out and you're already sweating. Same thing with Austin. Austin is very humid, so that's something to know, and that's something you should definitely consider if you do decide to move to Dallas, Texas. Now let's talk about cost of living. I would say cost of living, I don't know, a lot of people think it's cheap, but I don't think so. Things are so expensive, especially groceries, depending on where you go to though. So most times sometimes I'll go to Costco to buy bulk items, and I was realizing that the money I was paying was running into $1,000, and that's got me started, like, you know, and because it's not just Costco will be like essential household items. I'll now have to go to African store to buy African food items and then pick up any leftover items from Walmart. So 3 grocery stores, and I was spending close to $1,000, which is just ridiculous for just 2 people. So now I have discovered Aldi, and I think I'm going to start shopping there, and I'll be buying things small. So instead of buying bulk, I'll just buy small, and then, you know, not buy anything throughout the month till the end of the month. So I want to try that for a couple of months because, like, yeah, groceries and just is a little, it's getting high. I don't think it used to be like this before. So at least based on the conversations that I've had with other people, it doesn't always have to like it wasn't always like this. But then I don't know, with inflation and everything, things are just like going up. Even price for apartments and stuff, things like prices are just going up. Okay, so that's something you should bear in mind. Okay, that's the second thing that I wanted to share with you guys. Then let's talk about the traffic and commute. Traffic is crazy. I feel like there's no time that I've gone out that I didn't meet any amount of traffic. Like no amount of traffic. There's always traffic. And everywhere is far from everywhere. Like leaving my house, I just have to just close my mind. I know resolute that I'm going to spend about 2 hours, like 1 hour plus going, 1 hour plus coming by, especially if I'm going downtown or Plano or Fort Worth. Those usually are quite the distance. And then from where I stay to downtown, it's about 35 minutes. But even driving 5 minutes is like driving a long distance in Texas. Everywhere is far. It amuses me because they have such large roads and so many flyovers and like so many highways that you would think that traffic wouldn't be a thing of an issue. It wouldn't be a topic of conversation, but that's not the case. So I don't know. Just make sure you have it at the back of your mind that you're going to face traffic. Like in comparison to Lagos, it's probably the same. The only difference is here, at least there's nobody honking, and just that, you know, you can be in the comfort of your car, AC on, there's no exhaust gas. You know how Nigeria traffic is. So it's a little bit better, but there's definitely traffic. Now let's talk about the Southern hospitality. I think that was the very first thing that I noticed when I moved to Texas. People here, at least the people that I've met, they are super nice, super sweet. I'm talking like the white people, the ones that I've met though. I mean, I went to the grocery store the other day, and this lady was just a woman actually. She looked like she was in her late 40s. She was just so sweet. She was like having conversations with me. I told her that I just moved, so we just like chit-chatted for a little bit. And then remember that I had just moved, so I didn't have like my Kroger card to get discount. She offered to give me a card to use, and I basically used her card to get the discount, and I paid with my credit card, obviously. The other day I went to Aldi, and I didn't know that you had to pay with quarters to get the card out. And this other lady offered to pay for my card. She was just so sweet. And And the same thing I've experienced with other people. I find that in Minnesota it was very fake, and you can sort of like sense, oh my God, so nice, but here at least they say, oh my God, so nice. Like you can see the excitement. They will pretend that they are excited for you, but in Minnesota, like you can definitely sense the irritation. I mean, so far, this is again based on my experience. Some people might not have the same experience as I do, but at least from the most people that I've met, I have sort of like just gotten a sense of kindness and sweetness from them. And these are from white people, like people that are of a different race from me. I definitely give Texas a plus in that regard, especially compared to Minnesota. Let's talk about the job market. I do not really know much about the job market. So in general, like the job market right now is very crazy. Like I said, and again, I wasn't looking for a job when I moved to Dallas, so I probably am not the right or best person to answer that question. But I'm sure if you guys do a little bit of research online, you'll find some resources that will be able to guide you better. So I'm gonna not talk about it, but I would say that from the two people that I know that were looking for jobs, although it took them a while, but if they eventually got one here in Texas. So I don't know if it's the same thing everywhere, but from what I know with the general job market, it's been crazy. So just know that. Again, just check with resources just to make sure and double check what I just said. Sixth thing that I would like to talk about is cultural diversity. I feel like here there's a good mix of like Blacks, Asians, and then Caucasian people. I feel like in Minnesota, I didn't really see a lot of Latinos. And I might be wrong, but I don't think I saw a lot of Latinos. I did see a lot of Somalians, Ethiopians, like Black Americans, Africans, and then Caucasians. But here there's like a good mix of everybody. So I like that because then, in fact, they even have like Korean stores. So the other day I went to a Korean store and like I was just blown, how we have like African stores, they also have their stores. So it's very, very inclusive in that sense, I would say. The seventh reason is the food scene. Food is such a huge part of Texas. You know how they say everything is big in Texas. That's definitely true, depending on where you go to. And depending on the type of food, like, unhealthy food is typically very big, and then very healthy food is in proportion. So definitely something you have to keep in your mind and just like make a mental note of. But they do have, I feel like I've eaten really good tasting African meals in Texas than I've ever eaten in even going to Atlanta or going to Minnesota. They have more African stores here. And yeah, I've been enjoying African food anytime, I don't feel like cooking. And the food will taste really, really good, like good tasting food. So I definitely recommend, if you're already in Texas and you're like wondering where to get food, I typically get my already cooked food from Jollof Rice, especially from JTC Import. Their jollof rice is so good, like so good. Their jollof rice tastes the same every day. No matter the day you go, it will taste exactly the same. That tells you they've gotten their ingredient measurements to a T, which is a good thing. So there's that consistency in terms of quality. Let's talk about the eighth thing. Obviously, because it's like dry land and like summery weather, so there's more activities that you can do. Now I'm trying to get out of the house more often, start making more friends and like going out more. In Minnesota, like I said, for more than half of the year, you're stuck indoors just because of the snow. But here, like throughout the year, you can decide to go out. Maybe during the summer, you might not want to go out during the peak of the sun. You can just wait towards the evening or early in the morning. But there's still that very many opportunity for you to go out and several activities for you to do. I didn't even know there were running trails. I know that might sound dumb, but they're actually running trails that you can go to, take a quick run. You can go to the museum. You can go to the botanical garden. There's so many things you can actually do. Well, several that I'm yet to explore. I think that's pretty much it. So there are a bunch of stuff you can definitely do here as opposed to a place in Minnesota. Like Minnesota now, I know that during summer it's mostly ice fishing, skating, ice skating, so snowboarding. So though it doesn't pass those three. But yeah, there's a good variety here. Let's talk about this other thing that I feel like is so important, which is the eighth thing, taxes. There's no state income tax, which is so great. You know what that means? That means you get to pocket some of your, your income, more of your income to yourself. So here you basically just pay federal tax. You're not paying state tax at all. So you're just paying federal, and then you're yeah, it sounds like a great deal for me. So definitely a plus if you're employed and wanting to save more. That's definitely. But on the flip side, I did hear that like property tax is high. So if you're buying a home, depending on the price, those are things to consider. Now, in terms of sporting activities, because I don't know, is it a popular sporting event? The Dallas Mavericks. There are a couple of sporting events here that people really rave about. The Dallas Cowboys one, I've been hearing that name for a while, so apparently it's their football. Dallas Mavericks. They have a bunch of activities, sporting activities that you can definitely participate in. So that's pretty much everything, and I think these are very important things for you to think about before you move. If you have any specific questions regarding moving to Texas or just live in Texas, please let me know. I'm more than happy to answer them, and I'll put some helpful resources down below so you'd know that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, give me a thumbs up, like this video, share with your friends, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next one. Don't forget, XOXO, love you. Bye.